Yes, it is good morning and a very beautiful Friday morning. The first Friday in London. Let's take you on a school run trip. As we all waking up to this very beautiful Friday morning, let us continue to remember Benue State in our prayers as we are waking up this morning. I'm taking you on a school run very early in the morning like this. A lot of students are already getting ready, making their way to school. Education is very important. As you can see, that's my little girl reading a book to me. As you can see there. What's the name of the book you're reading? What is inside? Okay. Well, that is Maryam. Well, I was able to tell you while I was in Lagos, the Excellency Governor Kyumiambo, they also allow students to go on the public transport, on the BRT. And United Kingdom, almost all the students get into the bus free up to the age of 16, if I'm right. Education is a very, very big priority, and that should be the same thing in Nigeria. Especially in the northern part of the country, we must make sure that every student, every child gets to school. Also, they must be able to get free meal. It's very surprising that in Lagos State there is no free meal to all the primary school students. While I was in Nigeria, I was able to be told by someone that Lagos State is not part of that scheme. It is very important. As they are getting to school this morning, they'll be having a free breakfast just to kick them start very early in the morning. And there's no reason why we can't put the same thing in place. Only yesterday, my son went to the dentist. He doesn't have to pay for that. These are basic things that the parent doesn't have to worry too much, even though the parents are paying towards these, with the taxes that we are paying towards whatever we are doing in the country. And that should be the same thing in Nigeria. I don't understand why, children have to be paying for medical bills, for hospital bills and all that. Everything is very important to the children, especially at this age, to make sure they are well fit. They're also getting, as much in terms of education. If you go out early morning, by this time of the hours, anyway in Lagos, you probably pick up a lot of children that are still hawking on the street, and you tend to wonder, in 2018, why do we allow this to happen? As you can see, I might not be able to show you as much of the student because of, how do I want to put it? Privacy, I can only show myself. I can tell you the bus is completely full of children heading out to school, different schools. Hopefully, maybe by the time I come down, you'll be able to see, some of them as well. The big question mark is, the country, Nigeria, must spend so much in terms of our education budget. It is very important that every student, every child, should be given the opportunity to attend up to secondary school for free, because we have the wealth to be able to do that. United Kingdom is not better than us. It's just been properly managed. If people are not paying their taxes in Nigeria, they should be able to chase them up and track them down, because a lot of people believe, we shouldn't be paying tax because the government is not doing anything with those money anyway. But if the government are utilizing those money properly, we should be able to have, those opportunity. There shouldn't be any reason why, someone steals a lot of money in Nigeria and then brings their own children to come and school for free. Most of them are even sending their children. You might think they're sending their children to private school, but they end up coming to the same state school like any other citizen that lives outside the country. So you then wonder, why are you not fixing up some of those schools? While I was in Nigeria, I was able to move, very close between Lagos and Ogun State. Some of the schools are nothing to write home about, and you wonder how, we want to get the best, out of those students, studying in some of these schools as well. It is important. The election is about 400 days away. It is high time that we put in the right people in there to make sure that we get, the better result that we all want. We cannot continue, giving out false hope to a lot of people, because, if you look at the situation that took place in Benue State, it's just really, it's very sad. I did a post on that yesterday. But this morning, we are taking you on a school run, and that's what we're going to be showing you. Let's see if we can, it's very cold. But the most important thing is every student, every child, is the responsibility of the parent to make sure that, their children get to school. If your child is not going to be in school, you should be able to give them the reason why that particular child is not going to be in school. It doesn't matter whether you are rich, whether you are poor, that child must get to school. And as you can see there, that is, Maryam reading to me while I'm doing my own school run video. So what's the book all about? What is what?
What's inside of your body?
What is inside your body? You want to show my viewers what you're reading? That is what Maryam is reading. Let's look at the title of the book again. What is inside me is what Maryam is reading this morning. And, right there is Majid, as you can see, always frowning his face very early in the morning. Majid. Well, that's Majid there, sitting there. He's very, very shy. You can understand, they don't like to be on the video like their dad all the time. Once again, we're going to be doing so much work in the country before we come back to Nigeria. There's a lot of program coming up. The forced immigration surgery. Immigration is one of the biggest problems for a lot of the diaspora that are living outside the country. If anyone is talking to you back home and they're saying, pray for me, or this immigration, is really, really a big problem. Only yesterday, a friend of mine called me. His other friend, has been refused, after trying to renew their visa, their status. Is one of the biggest problem, and also a lot of, people are making a lot of, what do I want to say, information is the key. If you're still going through your immigration, make sure you're on top of it. Speak to the right people as well. It is one thing that is holding a lot of our citizens back in this country. That's why people look at Nigeria and say, well, I'd rather live and die on the Mediterranean Sea than being in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have everything, to be the best in the world, but we don't have, the will to move it forward, and that's where, the difference between, those that really want to run out of the country, because we have skills. We have a lot of, I've been seeing a lot of you that have logged in that I know on one-on-one that are doing great things in Nigeria. But the problem is, not a lot of people are also given the opportunity, to drive Nigeria forward. We need to really move Nigeria forward from where it is at the moment. As I say, there's a lot of buses. This is just one part of Enfield, which is about not part of London, and it's almost the same thing if you go everywhere. A lot of kids out now. It's almost coming up to 12 minutes past 8, and by 8:30 almost every student will be ready to get into the school to have their breakfast. Yes, you ready? You finished? So what are you gonna do now? Comment. Okay, we're gonna comment on the book now. Bring it out and comment on it. That's what we do in the morning. She will read the book back to me, and then I will comment, and then that will be submitted to the school later on. it is important that we also make a lot of time. As much as I was away for over 76 days, while I'm back in the country, I've got to make sure I put in as much time with the children as well. It is very important that we engage with them. But one thing is, education has to be free up to the secondary school level, and we're not really saying that in almost every state in Nigeria. I mean, it is important that the government put in more in terms of, sorry for that reflection, it looks like there's a bit of lighting at the back there that is really, okay, I think I might put it this way. Okay, let's comment. So tell me a little bit more about the book. Well, do you enjoy the book? And will you recommend it to your friends as well? So what is it that you've learned from the book?
If you're late, if you're like in secondary, then sometimes you get detention, and I don't want to get detention.
But do you go to bed early when your parents tell you to go to bed?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, what other things have you learned from the book as well? So going to bed early is very important.
I also learned from the book that
it was what?
Also, your heart beats, and yes, your heart beats, and it spreads the blood all around your body.
When your heart beats, so the blood circulates around the body.
Then it comes back into the heart.
191.
Come back into your heart.
2.
Wow.
And also, you also need to do some exercise to get fit and not eat too much fat things.
Please hold on. The
Okay,
bus
can you
is
repeat
about
that
to
again?
move.
Also, you have to exercise and not eat too much fat things.
Okay. Well, you like a lot of sweet things, do you?
I eat fruits at school as well.
Okay. So what was your day like yesterday in the school? What did you do in the school yesterday?
So, for this whole week, it was thinking. What's it called? It was test week.
It was test week.
Yeah, so like we did test for the whole week, and today we're doing mathematics.
So do you love maths? Daddy doesn't love maths when I was in school. It was very difficult. So you love maths. Okay.
Maths and art.
You love art. You need to speak to Uncle Kazim. You know Uncle Kazim does a lot of art work. So what did you have in school yesterday? What food did you have in school yesterday?
Chicken, potatoes,
Anything else?
carrots,
Okay. Anything else?
and yogurt.
And yogurt. Okay. And do you have any message to tell those that are listening, that are watching you? What would you like to say to them?
Make sure you exercise and don't eat too much fat things.
Falcon
Wow.
Road.
So Maryam is telling us this morning not to eat a lot of fat things. Anything else that you want to tell them before we come off on the bus? No. Well, that is Maryam there telling us how she was doing yesterday in the school. We're going to be coming off on the bus in the next few minutes. So going to bed early is very important, and you love the book as well. Okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm just putting a comment there. What she has already told me. She also recommend the book. Well, the weather is a bit, so we're coming off on the bus very soon. So I got to get myself together as well. We're still going to continue showing you the school run. This is what we do in the morning. I'm sure a lot of parents are also doing the same thing all over the world as you're all preparing to, as you can see, we're all coming off the bus now. And that is just the school. That is the school. As you can see, it's not a university. That is just a secondary school. The government must invest heavily to make all the schools, our education has to be top spec. If we really want the children in Nigeria to compete with a lot of children outside the country as well, it is important that the government put in so much money around that. Education, is something that the government must invest heavily. A lot of these children are getting, they don't have to worry about the food. Likewise, they don't have to worry. Thank you. Okay, let's now show you. Come on, let's go. That is, as you can see, that is the school right there. We're going to be crossing the zebra crossing. This is not a university. What is it that we cannot have every state in the 36 states of the country having the same standard? As we are crossing, every cars have the right to stop on this particular zebra crossing. As you can see, he dare not move. He knows that himself. You're already late from there. You're going to be going through the back. Normally that is the school there. What is so difficult, for we to have same standard of schools like these? It doesn't cost a lot. It's just a template and almost the same type of schools all over, United Kingdom. This is not a private school. This is, just a normal, secondary school until we invest into the schools, our education, put in more into the budget for the education, make sure it's mandatory for every parent, to take their children to school so that we will have less problems. We will have less, all these, problems that we are seeing now, erupting. Even the Fulani herdsmen should be sent to school, even if it's just the basic for them to understand, what actually they're doing, and that will go a long way. All right, children. Have a good day. I'll pick you up later. You're right, Majid. All right, love you. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Well, on their way to school now, and I'm also on my way back home, and get ready for the day as well. It is very important if we really want to bring the top out of the citizen in Nigeria, because a lot of them are already doing very well. They're doing extremely well. All they need is just those extra push, from having, the right conducive environment, which is very important. The children shouldn't be worrying about, I'm going to school in the morning, do I have to pay, for the transport to get to school? Some of these little things as well, those affect. That is still the school there. As you can see, there's nothing fantastic here. There's nothing big there. It's just that they have, those that are thinking, 10,000 times ahead, to make sure that every children, in United Kingdom at least get up to the, as you can see right there is a train. That train is actually traveling all the way, coming from the inner side of the, suburb, and that is going into the city. This is just exactly what we are saying. The government can do the same thing in Nigeria. That is the school. That is the whole structure of the school. But right there, there's everything in there. It's not a private school. It is free. It's not free in terms of for the parent, because the parents that are working are paying back the tax to make sure that the school get exactly the building that we are looking in there. If you go out this morning now to any schools, apart from maybe the private school in Nigeria, you realize that there's just so much that you have to pay out of your nose, if you really want to send your own children in Nigeria to a private school. State school, I went to Abeokuta Grammar School. I remember, back then in Abeokuta Grammar School, almost everybody in Lagos wants to send their own children, to come and school, in Abeokuta. But right now we have leaders that are sending their own children to come and school in United Kingdom. But I can tell you some of them are also going into the state school just behind me. So you tend to wonder, what is it difficult that you cannot put in those structure in terms of the infrastructure? If you look at it again, everybody have whatever they are doing, from the road network everybody has a responsibility to make sure that the safety of the children is very important as well. That is very, very paramount. But the most important thing is until we have leaders that can really move things forward. But as citizens as well, we also have responsibility, to question and ask some of these leaders. Most of them, they travel down here and they see, exactly the same template. As you can see there behind me, this is not a university. That is just a normal primary to secondary school, and everything is in there. The teachers are being paid. If you wonder, some states saying we are owing 4 months' salary. For how long are you going to continue owing salary? And you expect, the student to get the best out of the teachers? I don't think that is definitely going to happen. And this is some of the problems, that we are facing today. Again, it's just a school run that I'm showing you. My first Friday back in London. The weather is a little bit better this morning. I think it's been raining, so I'm just going to put my beautiful power bank that was given to me by my very good friend all the way in Manchester while I was in Nigeria. I've been really enjoying that. That is it, a very beautiful one. Once again, it is really sad, the news that we are getting back from Benue State. We hope the federal government is working around the clock to put a end, to this problem with the herdsmen that is still taking place in Nigeria. Once again, it's just a school run to show you that if we really want to get the best out of our student in Nigeria as well, we must also put in, the right things in place. Education is the most key. Is the key. Is the early start. As you can see there, while I was dropping my own children to school, education can move a lot of things forward. And we have the best in the country, but the problem is, the best are not being, taken on board when they are making their decision, because the situation, as you can see there as well, that is the police on their way patrolling. In London, we have our own police. Each in Kent, they have their own. I think, people have been saying, well, it is high time that each state have their own police force so that they will get to know people better, they will get to know the environment better as well. But the problem again is people will say that will be used against when there's a political, everything tends to be political, which is quite understandable, but we must also have, all the 36 states having their own police force. London have its own police force, Kent have his own police force, and that way, these guys knows the area very well. They know if there's a trouble, they know those that could kick off those trouble, and this is what we need to do. It's an early morning, and it's just a school run. And behind it there is not a university, it's just a school. We must have the same template, we must have the same standard of school as well in Nigeria to be able to, some of the schools sometimes, while I was traveling, in between the interstate, it's just really something that I couldn't even bring on the line to show you, because it's so painful to understand that. I met some of the students right in that school. I don't want to mention the state, but these are problems that we need to really tackle, because we cannot allow education to die just like that. People are paying through their nose. If you go to all the universities in Nigeria, I've said it so many times while I was back home, all these network providers should be given free internet access to all the students at the university, even if it's for 1 hour. It will go a long way. But, these are things that needs to be done. I could access my internet for free on the street while I'm down here if I don't have access to my data, because the council has already put in, some of the network Wi-Fi so that you can at least log in for 1 hour and do what you have to do. I've said it so many times, MTN, Glo, Airtel, and Etisalat or 9Mobile or whatever they're called now, the government should tell them, they must put in a Wi-Fi system in all the universities in the country, so that way at least the student can gain access to 1 hour internet, at least maybe every day, to kick off and do whatever they are doing. It is a very beautiful morning. The weather is much better. It looks like it's telling me you're back to London. But as you can see, everyone is, I'm just waiting for my boss to take me back home. While we are doing that, let's also continue to show you some of the areas. As you can see there, again, a lot of students, making their way into the school premises. That is not a university. It's just a normal building. It's a school. And as you can see there, my boss is on his way. I already can pick up the bus. It's the bus 191 taking me back home. A lot of people are already out. People going to work. People dropping their children to school. There is no magic, in all these. We just need, the right thinking leaders, to take us to the dream land. If everybody wants to run away from the country, it's because of some of these pictures and some of these videos that they're looking at and saying, well, if London could be like this, what is so difficult to have Nigeria the same way? But until we have people that really have the zeal, to take us to that dreamland, we will only continue to see all these videos, but we won't get the road. The roads in Nigeria are extremely bad. I can tell you that. They're extremely dangerous as well. I was on those roads, and sometimes, you pray that you just go back, you come back home every day because, they're just so terrible. That is my bus coming. I'm going to be getting on the bus as well. Won't be able to show you the driver. I'm not allowed to, but I can show myself. Getting on the bus now. Again, all the students from age, up to 16, they get on the bus for free. And now BRT, I saw that as well while I was, let's get the paper. Also, you get a free paper while you're getting on the bus. Okay. Well, as you can see there, it's empty. As you can see, very clean. And that is about it. Let's see what the news updates from the Metro newspaper. Flu kills teenager students. So education is very important. Let us continue to, let's bring say, okay, I can't bring anybody in. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed my very beautiful school run, and we'll be back again sometime later on today again and give you more updates. But on the 3rd of February, right here in London, there's going to be an immigration surgery. If you have your friends, your family, your network that are still saying, my immigration is not sorted out, tell them maybe they might be able to follow us. We're going to be bringing that as well on the Facebook for live streaming. There's going to be a lot of information. The country is coming out of EU. There's a lot of changes, and if you're not really on tap with these immigration laws, you'll definitely caught up with it. So make sure you tell someone, tell your friends, and also there's a lot of event coming up as well. We'll be giving you those information as it's happening. But once again, my name is Olayomi Koiki, the first Friday in London, and we hope to continue to engage with the community right here in the United Kingdom and also in Nigeria. We should be back in Nigeria very soon, but for the time being, we're still having a good time with the family and friends and network in London here. I will be bringing you more information as time goes. Let's continue to pray for Benue State. Let's pray for peace in Nigeria. Without peace, we cannot be together. So peace is very important, and we must also continue to remember those that are already being put into a kind of difficulties. The husband has been killed, the wife has been killed, the children has been killed. Let's just at one point today, remember them in prayer, and I've been doing that as well myself, and I hope, all my friends and followers will be doing the same thing. Good morning from wherever you're watching, and those that will be watching later on. Continue to share the page. Continue to also put in your own little mite at the GoFundMe page that I've set up, so that will allow me to travel around the whole 36 states of the country between now and 2018. Thank you very much, and good morning.